This Indian that I said, and the Rebbe told about his grandfather who was from the Yoshev in Lubavitch in the Fabrengen of Purim Tovshun Chav Ches. The Rebbe says the Rebbe spoke about it once before that also. In the Fabrengen Shabbos Parshas Meketz Tovshin Tazayin. Obviously, I wasn't there. It was before my time. But you could see in the Sikha that the Rebbe spoke about it. And more Barich as the Rebbe spoke about it in the Fabrengen of Shabbos Parshas Nitzofen Vayelech in the year of Tovshin Mem Vov. And this is what the Rebbe said, they're more barichas. He said that in those days, before Yeshivas Temchmima was established, there were young light that right after the Chassidim, they would go to Lubavitch to be in the vicinity of the Rebbe Maharash, and they would stay there for a Meshach Zman in order to learn Nigla Chassidus in the form of Isyashvus, which means in a settled way. That's why they were called Yeshvim. And the Rebbe went on and saying, concerning the time before you get married, it's no chidush that you should all day sit and learn. Micah Mashmalon. How could it be different? Adarab, if we'd have to talk about it to be made, it's an embarrassment. How could you even think that there should be a Havamina that it's not like that? A Bocher, when he becomes Bar Mitzvah, and even before Bar Mitzvah, when he's just being educated, before he even starts thinking about money and COVID, etc., was ogulate with Apashtas, that his whole union is learning Torah. When the time when you have to learn in yeshiva for sure, Micah Mashmalon, even the time when it's not part of Seder HaYeshiva, time when you eat and you drink, and time when you sleep. Also from those times, a bocher would know that he has to steal some time in order to learn Torah. And this was instilled in a bocher from the moment he started breathing the air in his house that he was born and he was raised. And certainly you don't have to be me'ered about it. Even more, when you get closer to the time of shidduchim, time to get married, then he already has to start thinking about parnosa. As the Rambam says that you should have parnosa before you get married. He also knew that nevertheless the ikir is his learning Torah. Like the Mishnah says, it should be teiros chokva. Your learning should be the main thing that you have. Not only that, and when it came to the time when he actually has to get involved in working, he would feel bad about it. And sometimes he even have to remind him that this is what he's supposed to do. The chidush was, in the case that after you get married, that they would go to Lubavitch and stays there for a Meshach Zman to learn Torah, learn Nigla Chassidus. In despite that Richaim al Tzavore, which is an expression that means that he has a parnosa on his responsibility, on his shoulders. And he has a ischayvus, an obligation that he has upon himself called Sheiros Ksusoinena to support his family. Nevertheless, at this time, they would go and sit in Lubavitch, and that was the foundation on which they built their homes for their whole life. Besides the Etzem Zach, that at the time that they did it, this was something special that they were able to sit and learn then. But this became the seal for their whole life after that. And the Rebbe said this is not only a story from the past, but from that we have to learn for the present that this is how we're supposed to behave. And this goes not only for a bocher before the Chassidim, for like he said before, he has no responsibility of parnosa, so certainly he has to learn. But even after he gets married, when then al pitayra he's supposed to get involved in yonim of parnosa, you have to set time to learn. I say teros chakva, and this has to be the foundation of his whole life. And when this is the foundation of your whole life, then you get to lechatchila riber, which is the mother of the Rebbe Maharash, and this is connected to Rebbe Maharash because the Rebbe said it in connection to his grandfather was a Yoshev by the Rebbe Maharash, and then even comes to parnosa, you will have the broche in the parnosa, that you won't even need to work so hard in order to make a kele for parnosa. And the Rebbe told the story with the Baal Shem Tov, and he connected also the Rebbe Maharash, who on him they said that there were Baal Shemske anhogas by the Rebbe Maharash, that once he needed some money and he knocked on someone's window and they walked away and the person who opened the window, he saw he wasn't there. He went out and he chased him and he said, "What did you want?" And he said, "I need some money." He said, "Why didn't you wait till I open?" He said, "All I had to do was make a kele." Some people have to make a kele of working. By me, the knocking on the window was enough kele. So the Rebbe said that brocha, if this is what you do to be like the Yoshev by the Rebbe Maharash, this is the foundation of your life, you'll even will have parnosa. Now to go back, but the gay, what was the word of the Rebbe's grandfather that he said in the Fabrengen Purim Tovshun Chav Ches, that will be in the next voice note.